want to show you the next stage of the cucamelons. Now, as you can see, they're doing ever so well. I should have potted these up a little while ago, but I've just been too busy down the allotment. You know how things are. So I would have planted these, or potted them on, when they were just a little bit shorter than this and they hadn't started to get their tendrils and started making out with each other. So I'm going to have to very carefully pull the tendrils off. It doesn't matter if you rip the tendrils because they'll get more that will go, just as long as you don't break the stem. You must be very, very careful. So I've got quite a few in here. I'm curious to know how these things turn out, as I'm sure you are. So I'll just show you how I pot these on. Right, now some are the size that I would normally pot them on. This little one here, if I carefully take it out, it is recommended that when you do pot them on, you pot them on when they're about this height. They're about, this one has got to be 2-3 inches tall. Now if they are this size, what I'll do is I'll put it in a little 3-inch pot. So I'll put some compost down the bottom like that. I'll pop him in, and then I'll just fill all round just to fill him up, okay? Just like that. Make sure that when you do put it in, that the bottom leaves are just above the soil, so you can plant them quite a long way down, okay? Now these, if they're this size, I'll leave them in the 3-inch pot until they get bigger. Now this one here is rather large, so when they're in their 3-inch pots and they get to about this size and they get all these tendrils on them, then they need to go into their 6-inch pots, and I've actually got a 6-inch pot here ready. So we'll take this one out. Be careful that he's not attached to anything else. If he is, the little tendrils, the curly bits, you just pull them off. Okay, and they will make more, so don't worry. As you can see, this one's quite long, so I'm going to pop him in, because he's so long, in a 6-inch pot. Now the one that I have put in a 3-inch pot, it won't be long before it has to move into this big one. Okay, ooh, need to tidy the greenhouse, it's all messy. So again, when the one in the 3-inch pot has got too big for it, move it into a 6-inch pot and do exactly the same. Just put it in and make sure that the soil is at the bottom. You can plant it a little lower down, just like that, and then it will stay here in its 6-inch pot for the rest of its life. Okay, well I'll carry on with those. If they're too small, then put them in a 3-inch pot. If they're getting quite large, then put them straight into a 6-inch pot. But when your little one from your 3-inch pot gets too big, just stick it into a 6-inch pot. Obviously take it out of the pot, otherwise it won't expand. And then it'll just stay in its 6-inch pot until it's finished. They do like to hang on to things, so if you've got some frame that they can climb up, or a stick that they can hold on to, or even some trellis, if you grow them by some trellis, and then they can work their way up the trellis. So be inventive, see what you have. I think I may well stick a stick in this one. Depends where it's going to go. I think the tomatoes are all down the bottom, so this one might have to go across the top, so it might end up just drooping all over the place. But I'll show you what happens and how they're getting on as they progress. Okay, you may well have to be aware that slugs and snails may like these as well, so you might have to put something round to stop those as well. Okay, but I hope you found that useful, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.